please tell us about the PM Awas Yojana. How successful do you think this scheme has been when it comes to providing homes to the poor and the marginalized?
See, if you're talking of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, I must say that actually it's been a non-starter. It was never made to. I think it's like what once the Home Minister said that what Prime Minister Modi had spoken was only a jumla. So I think PMAY is also a jumla actually, because the government report of 2012 said that there is a shortage of about 25 million houses. That is 2.5 crore houses shortage there, of which 99.8% housing deficit is for economically weaker sections and low LIG sections, low income group sections. Now, so obviously, they had to, make those houses for EWs and LIG sections. And, fortunately for me, I had met Venkaiah Naidu in a Hyderabad meeting. It was a Millennium Cities meeting in 2014, and PMAY was declared in 2015, actually. And, because PMAY was I think, so it was coming up. So I went up and he was there in the meeting to inaugurate the conference early morning, all alone, actually. So I went and congratulated him, saying that, sir, it's excellent that you come up with Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana and Housing for All, which is a very bold step that we're taking. And so he was very happy. And I said, but sir, there's one issue. You mentioned about that you'll be constructing 2.5 crore houses by 2022. And so I did the calculation, which is there also in the book City Makers. So by that yardstick, you'll have to construct some 9,781 houses per day. It has to be ready. You don't have to lay foundations, it's ready. So I asked him, sir, what is the technology that you're going to use which will put 9,781 houses per day on ground? He said, oh yeah, well, that's a good question. And maybe I think, when you come to Delhi, you just take the number of my secretary and, you meet up. And of course, he went on to be the vice president. He retired and all that. Never had the meeting with him ever. And why I'm saying this is that, I think there was this, through Lok Sabha questions, we got this figure that, in May 2016, that 6,83,724 houses were to be constructed, which should have been ready by then, by 2016, okay, of which only 710 houses were constructed. In a year's time of 6,83,000, only 710 houses were constructed, which means the hit ratio is 0.1%. So if you go by this fantastic, reach, fantastic, work that the Indian government is doing, you know what? To construct 25 million houses, 2.5 crore houses, by this yardstick of 0.1% achievement, it would take 35,211 years to reach the target of PMAY as such. So who are we fooling with? This is there in my book, City Makers. I mentioned this. Okay, it's a 2060 publication. An ebook version is there, came out in 2021 also. So the thing is, Vikas, that earlier we used to have data about how many houses were constructed and all those things. You could ask through RTI and all that. Today, every institution has collapsed. RTI doesn't function at all in the country. The government is totally unaccountable. So I wonder as to where the houses that the government proclaims to be having offered to people. Houses are missing. Who has got the housing, by the way? So on paper, they might say that they've achieved PMAY, but in reality, where is it? You show us, the thing is, you show us the pictures, you show us the people, it's all fictitious actually. So the issue really is that the biggest scam of the country is PMAY, because I think also I think, in PMAY, the urban rural thing, it was mentioned that as a policy, in one of the meetings I was narrating this, that this is one policy, this is one program, a scheme, which says that while ensuring that you're giving houses to the people who don't have houses in urban areas and all, and ensure that no person from rural area comes and takes the houses. So I raised the issue that in my work with homeless people, for last over 23 years now, that must have been that time of 20 years or whatever. If I'm talking 2-3 years ago issue, that in my entire work, I haven't found one single person who has told me that they've come from UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, wherever, West Bengal, and all that, or Maharashtra, or wherever, for a house. People come for work. People are in cities for livelihoods. So, and also the issue here is, I think, Vikas, that the government should have realized one thing, that it had various schemes in that PMAY. There are these 4 verticals and all that. Now, you are one is not promoting that. You have declared many people staying in slums and all as illegal. You're going and demolishing the houses. So if you're talking PMAY, even if the union government had allowed people to stay where they're staying, and without offering them the houses that they're talking about, things would have been still better. So at one end, you are evicting people. In Mumbai, there are massive evictions taking place from streets and all, from slums and all. In Delhi, many places, in UP, you remember, you have bulldozers moving around, demolishing the houses of the minorities on one pretext, other pretext. So you are making people in large numbers homeless. They're demolishing houses. Is this PMAY, or is it a communal agenda that you're following, or it's an agenda against the poor people? So I maintain one thing very clearly, Vikas, that there are two Indias. One is the capital INDIA, where the Constitution of India and Supreme Court and High Courts and the Union Ministry and Union Government, everything functions. Adani, Ambani's, and the all the laws and everything function. The other India is non-India, is all lowercase, where all the Dalits and Muslims and women and children and the poor, they stay, and nobody in the country is bothered about them. Until you address their problems, until you make schemes reach them, nothing is going to happen on the ground as such.
So, Induji, in the past, there have been many similar yojanas which cater to this requirement, but still the problem of homelessness has not been solved. What could be the reason behind it?
The problem is that the politicians are interested. The bureaucrats are least bothered. They are sitting in the ivory castles and have got nothing to do with this issue as such. And if they had something to do, we were not required at all. While the government is tightening its noose on the voluntary sector, they want us to be dead and gone. We are ready to go just move away, but let the government perform. So the issue is, they don't do anything for the poor. They make a huge shout and cry about it. It's so bad, and they're doing actually nothing is really happening. They're just fooling around the people, both the bureaucrats and the government as such. And unfortunately, even at judiciary now, of course, Chandrachud is the Chief Justice. With him, we see a bit of a ray of hope. But judiciary all across the country, the institution is crumbling. Which institution in the country today is functional?
So do you think the budgetary allocation which have been done till now to PMAY is enough?
Oh, no way, no way. Now, you just just do a calculation, in terms of a house that's constructed in an urban area, input the land cost in it, input the construction cost in it. Where is the land? Land is with the union government in most places. And where is the cost for it? Who will bear the cost for it? You would do an allocation of whatever. How many crores? 48,000 crores this allocation talking about? Hey, input that into the number of houses that are deficient. There's a housing deficit. About 2, 3 lakh, 4 lakhs per housing into those many numbers, 25 million houses, or even 2 million, or even 1 million houses. You'll see that it's not even catering to 10% of the housing demand. So you'll have to have many trillions of rupees committed for housing. And here you don't have budget for health, you don't have budget for education, you don't have budget for housing. Okay, so what are you doing actually? So you know that by some 1,000 crores and all, people listen to crores, and it makes a good sense. Actually, if you do a simple micro budgeting, in the sense that where it's actually what is going to lead to whom is going to benefit, you'll realize that I think it's what the government is giving is peanuts.
Induji, my last question to you would be, what is the single biggest challenge you see in implementing such schemes, and single maybe the biggest change you would like to see in such schemes?
See, the biggest challenge is, which we have been saying, is the political will and the bureaucratic will, or the bureaucratic passion or compassion. Bureaucracy lacks total compassion and passion to do this work. You can see what's happening in Delhi for the matter. You know, so I would say that is across the country. So people, they did through all labor and hard work and all that. They've come into civil services, but they've forgotten why they came into it. So this arrogance has taken over real service. Okay. So that's one. Two is, I think the change that I would want to see is that the union government needs to play a statesperson role. That is, support the states which is doing amazing work, which might be contrary to your own politics. Don't force your politics into every state. Don't push your agendas there. Whichever party wins, let them win. Don't only work for winning elections. Work for winning the hearts of the people. Work for creating homes for the homeless people, homes for the slum dwellers, homes for the poor people. You may win or may not win, but the country will lose if you are doing the same kind of politics.